The moon is the only celestial body besides Earth that humans have ever landed on. This incredible feat has been achieved by only one country, and some other countries have successfully landed their spacecraft on the moon. In this video, we will take a detailed look at the missions that these countries launched to the moon, and we will learn about the challenges and successes that they faced along the way. Hi everyone, and welcome to Briefcard channel. If you're new to my channel, I encourage you to subscribe, so you don't miss any of my latest videos. Let's start. The Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was the first country to land a spacecraft on the moon. On September 12, 1959, the Luna 2 spacecraft crashed into the moon's surface, becoming the first artificial object to do so. This was a major achievement for the Soviet space program, and it put them in the lead in the space race. The Soviet Union followed up their success with a series of successful soft landings on the moon. In 1966, the Luna 9 spacecraft became the first spacecraft to successfully land on the moon and transmit images back to Earth. This was a major breakthrough. In 1968, the Soviet Union launched the Zone 5 spacecraft, which became the first spacecraft to orbit the moon and return to Earth safely. This was a major milestone, and it showed that the Soviet Union was capable of sending humans to the moon. The Soviet Union's last successful moon landing mission was Luna 24, which landed on the moon in 1976. This mission collected samples of lunar soil and returned them to Earth. The Soviet lunar program had 20 successful missions to the moon and achieved a number of notable lunar firsts: the first probe to impact the moon, first flyby and image of the lunar far side, first soft landing, first lunar orbiter, and the first circumlunar probe to return to Earth. These were achieved by the two successful series of Soviet probes, the Luna 24 lunar missions, and the Zone 5 lunar missions. The United States. The United States was the second country to successfully land a spacecraft on the moon with NASA's Surveyor 1. On July 20, 1969, the Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon, and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on its surface. This was a monumental achievement, and it marked the culmination of years of research and development by NASA. The United States followed up their success with 5 more crewed moon landings. Apollo 12, Apollo 14, Apollo 15, Apollo 16, and Apollo 17 all landed on the moon and conducted scientific experiments. These missions also collected a large amount of lunar samples, which are still being studied today. The United States' last successful moon landing mission was Apollo 17, which landed on the moon in December 1972. This was the last time that humans have set foot on the moon. NASA's early moon explorers included several missions of the Pioneer, Ranger, Surveyor and Lunar Orbiter series. 9 human missions were launched to the moon between 1968 and 1972, with some people flying on more than one mission. As for moonwalkers, 12 American male astronauts walked on the moon between 1968 and 1972. China. China is the third country to successfully soft land a spacecraft on the moon. In 2013, the Chang'e 3 spacecraft landed on the moon and deployed the U2 rover. In 2019, China launched the Chandrayaan 4 spacecraft, which landed on the far side of the moon. This was the first time that a spacecraft had landed on the far side of the moon, and it was a major technological achievement. India is the only other country to have landed on the moon by way of an impactor or lander mission. After orbiting the moon for 312 days, Chandrayaan 1 deployed a moon impact probe in November 2008, releasing underground debris that, after analysis by the orbiter, confirmed the presence of water. The mission also made India the first to complete a hard landing on the lunar South Pole. In September 2019, Chandrayaan 2 crashed during a landing attempt, with the orbiter remaining operational. In addition to the countries mentioned above, several other countries have also launched missions to the moon. These countries include Japan, the European Space Agency, Luxembourg, Israel, Italy, South Korea, and the United Arab Emirates. Since the 1970s, only China has successfully put any uncrewed ships on the moon. Soviet Union's last landing was in 1976, and the United States hasn't tried since 1972. Some more landing attempts, by companies or government agencies from different countries, could well be made before the end of 2023. Chandrayaan 3, from the Indian Space Research Organization, has put into space on the 14th of July 2023. The moon mission has been smooth so far, and the ISRO expects the Vikram lander to make a soft landing on the lunar south pole on 23rd of August. Luna 25, from the Russia's Roscosmos space agency, and its first since 1976, to revive a Soviet-era lunar program. It has launched on 11th of August and will land near the lunar south pole on before or along with Chandrayaan 3. Peregrine Mission 1, from the Pittsburgh, US-based company Robotic Technology, is waiting for modifications to its Vulcan Centaur launch vehicle. The launch date is now planned in the fourth quarter of 2023. China and US are also planning to launch more moon missions in the coming years, and they are expected to land humans on the moon in the near future. The future of human exploration of the moon is bright, and it is likely that we will see more countries and more people visiting the moon in the years to come. Conclusion: more than 140 missions launched to the moon. A small number of them had astronauts on board, but most of the missions were robotic orbiters, landers and rovers. These missions were major achievements, and they paved the way for future exploration of the moon. It is likely that more countries will land spacecraft on the moon in the coming years, and it is possible that humans will return to the moon in the not too distant future. The moon is the closest major destination to Earth, so it's no surprise it's one of the most popular targets for space exploration missions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment your thoughts down below. Stay curious.